Why would anyone willingly pay hundreds of dollars every year to store things they rarely use? It sounds irrational. Yet that simple decision has turned self-storage into one of the most profitable corners of American real estate. Most people assume owners make easy passive income by renting empty boxes. They don't. The best operators earn money by understanding human behavior. They know most customers hate moving more than they hate paying higher rent. They use pricing software that changes rates constantly, sell insurance with healthy margins, and build systems that quietly increase revenue long after a tenant signs a lease. The storage unit is only the visible product. The real business is reducing customer movement while maximizing recurring income. Once you see that, the industry looks completely different. And if renting empty space isn't the real business, then what exactly are storage owners selling today to millions of Americans month? Most people think the self-storage business exists because Americans own too much stuff. That's true, but it only explains why people rent units, not why the business is so profitable. The real story begins after someone signs the lease. Most customers arrive during major life changes, moving to a new city, going through a divorce, renovating a home, downsizing after retirement, or helping a family member settle an estate. They expect the storage unit to be temporary. Months later, many are still paying. Why? Because moving everything out is expensive, time-consuming, and physically exhausting. Renting a truck, finding helpers, and spending an entire weekend hauling furniture usually costs more than accepting another rent increase. Storage operators understand this perfectly, call it customer retention, but it is really behavioral economics in action. Every year, modest rent increases test whether customers value lower prices more than avoiding the hassle of moving. Most choose convenience. That quiet decision becomes the foundation of the industry's remarkable profitability. Ask almost any apartment owner what success looks like, and they'll probably say 100% occupancy. In self-storage, that answer can signal the opposite. A facility with every unit rented is often leaving money on the table. If customers are lining up and every locker is full, demand has outgrown pricing. Professional operators respond by raising rates, not celebrating full occupancy. Most aim for roughly 88% to 92% occupancy because a small number of empty units gives them flexibility to capture higher-paying customers who need space immediately. Behind the scenes, sophisticated revenue management software constantly adjusts prices based on demand, unit size, season, and even how quickly similar units are renting. A 10 by 10 unit available today might cost more next week simply because local demand changed. It works much like airline tickets or hotel rooms. Empty space is not always lost income. Sometimes it is an investment in higher future revenue. That simple pricing philosophy completely changes how successful storage owners think about profitability and growth over time. Monthly rent is what customers notice, but it isn't always what makes a storage facility so profitable. Many operators have quietly built additional businesses around every tenant who walks through the gate. One of the biggest is insurance. Most facilities require tenants to insure the contents of their unit. Customers can buy coverage elsewhere, but many choose the policy offered at the front desk because it is quick and convenient. The storage company often earns a substantial commission on every policy sold, creating a steady stream of high-margin income that requires almost no additional space or maintenance. The same strategy appears throughout the facility. Operators sell locks, moving boxes, tape, packing supplies, and even truck rentals. Administrative fees, late payment charges, and premium pricing for climate-controlled units all add to the bottom line. Some facilities go even further by converting ordinary storage space into specialty products such as wine lockers. A standard 5 by 5 unit can be divided into several climate-controlled wine lockers that generate far more revenue from the same square footage. The building never becomes larger, but the income it produces does. That is why experienced owners rarely judge success by occupancy alone. They focus on how much revenue each square foot can generate, because every extra dollar, earned without adding new construction, dramatically increases profitability. From the outside, a storage facility looks cheap to operate. There are no tenants calling about broken kitchens, no expensive interior renovations between leases, and very little day-to-day staffing. That image has helped create the myth that storage is almost effortless. The reality is far more expensive. Owners still pay property taxes, insurance, utilities, security monitoring, software subscriptions, marketing, and loan payments. Climate-controlled buildings add another major expense through heating, cooling, and humidity control that runs year-round. The biggest costs often come from decisions made years before the first customer arrives. A poorly designed facility with awkward layouts or inefficient driveways can lose rental income for decades. Something as simple as an unpaved gravel driveway creates dust that settles on vehicles and furniture, increasing customer complaints and turnover. Many investors willingly spend hundreds of thousands of dollars paving drive aisles because the upgrade allows higher rents and raises the property's value far beyond its cost. Even converting an abandoned supermarket into storage carries hidden penalties. Structural support columns reduce usable space, leaving fewer rentable units than a purpose-built facility. Successful owners know that profitability depends just as much on controlling these invisible costs as it does on filling units with paying customers. A storage facility can look like a perfect investment until the numbers begin to shift. One of the biggest risks is oversupply. When too many developers build new facilities in the same area, operators compete for the same customers. Street rates fall, promotions become more generous, and profit margins shrink even if the buildings remain busy. Cheap financing once fueled a construction boom across many American cities, leaving some markets with far more storage space than demand could support. Another overlooked risk comes from customers who stop paying. Television shows like Storage Wars made abandoned units look like hidden treasure waiting to be auctioned. In reality, auctions are usually a last resort. Most unpaid units contain ordinary household items worth far less than the outstanding rent. Many operators recover more money by selling delinquent accounts to collection agencies than by auctioning the contents. The business is often closer to debt recovery than treasure hunting. Ironically, rising mortgage rates can improve storage demand. Families locked into low-rate mortgages postpone moving to larger homes and rent storage instead. But that advantage disappears if interest rates remain high long enough to slow the broader economy. Successful owners must constantly balance local competition, economic cycles, financing costs, and customer behavior. Those who ignore any one of these forces quickly discover that storage is far less passive than it appears. The difference between an average storage facility and an exceptional one rarely comes down to the building itself. It comes down to how the owner thinks about every square foot. Professional operators treat each unit as a product that must earn the highest possible return. They study which sizes rent the fastest, which locations command premium prices, and which upgrades produce the greatest increase in revenue. A drive-up unit that lets customers unload directly from a truck can rent for significantly more than an identical unit at the end of a hallway. Even the slope of the driveway matters. If loading is easier and rainwater drains away properly, customers notice the convenience and are willing to pay for it. Technology has changed the business just as much as real estate expertise. Many modern facilities have no full-time office staff. Customers reserve units online, sign leases electronically, receive gate access through their phones, and move in without meeting an employee. Calls are routed to centralized sales centers where agents are often paid only when they successfully lease a unit. Pricing software monitors local demand every day, automatically adjusting rates to maximize revenue. One manager can now oversee several facilities from a single office because software handles tasks that once required an entire team. That combination of operational efficiency and data-driven pricing explains why large investment firms continue buying storage facilities across the country. For them, the value is no longer just the land or the buildings. It is the operating system that consistently turns ordinary storage space into predictable cash flow. As technology continues to reshape the industry, the economics of ownership are changing once again. The self-storage industry is entering a new phase. For decades, success depended on finding the right location and keeping the facility full. Today, technology, demographics, and institutional investment are reshaping the business. Large real estate investment trusts, or REITs, continue acquiring independently owned facilities because they can operate them more efficiently using centralized software, dynamic pricing, and national marketing. Smaller owners increasingly compete with companies that have access to better data and lower financing costs. Demand is also changing. Housing has become more expensive, people are staying in smaller homes for longer, and remote work has encouraged millions of Americans to relocate. Each of those trends creates temporary or long-term storage needs. At the same time, newer facilities are becoming smarter, with app-based gate access, smart locks, automated kiosks, and artificial intelligence helping set rental prices in real time. The opportunity remains strong, but it is no longer enough to simply own storage space. Future winners will be the operators who combine efficient real estate with better technology, stronger customer experiences, and disciplined pricing. In a business built on ordinary buildings, the competitive advantage increasingly comes from extraordinary operations.